Hello and welcome to Leviathan News. Today is September 7th, and we have special guests. We have the Stroom Network team who is here to talk about LSDs on Bitcoin. So we have Slava and Ross who are here to kind of give us a refresh on Lightning, because myself and DeFi Advisor were talking about it last week. And I think a lot of people that are in the DeFi space right now probably may have never done a Lightning transaction or run a Lightning node, or maybe had not done anything with Bitcoin other than maybe buy WBTC for the longest time. And here we finally have an entrant into the Ethereum space for LSDs on Bitcoin. So welcome, Slava, Ross.
Hey, nice to be here.
So maybe you could give, for our viewers at home that may not be as acquainted with Lightning Network and how it sits on top of Bitcoin and how the channels work, maybe you can go in a little into depth about like what the Lightning Network is and kind of, you know, what you are building with Stroom.
Yeah, sure. So Lightning Network is a most promising scaling solution for Bitcoin blockchain. It is a layer 2, but it does not look like any traditional layer 2 that you are accustomed to on Ethereum ecosystem, like zk Rollups or Polygon or whatever. So it is actually not a blockchain at all. It's a network of payment channels, and every payment channel is sitting on Bitcoin blockchain. It's actually 2 of 2 multi-signature address, and one signature is controlled by one party of the channel and another signature controlled by the other party of the channel. So basically channel, it's more small dash of Bitcoins that is controlled by 2 parties. And inside the channel, you have kind of like balance distribution, and you can transact within that balance indefinitely and as many transactions as you want. And all of that is done off-chain, and so no transaction fee, and it's really super cheap and super fast. And it seems that in order to transact with someone, you need to have a payment channel, but actually you can send transaction across several channels, which makes Lightning really scalable, because you don't need to open like so many channels. You just need to find a path to the destination, and you send the transaction along that path, and all intermediary nodes collect some small portion of fee based on that transaction. And that's actually how you can earn in Lightning Network. If you provide liquidity as a routing node, so you route transactions for others, then you really can earn up to like 2-3% APY.
Yeah, the way that I think about Lightning is almost like you guys remember like an abacus, where you can like slide the little pieces back and forth, right? But you can never take them off the rail. And that's essentially how the payment channels work. You open up a payment channel with somebody else, and you can like almost instantaneously and super fast send those Bitcoin back and forth between you and the other person at the end of that channel, but they never get taken off. So if you want to actually have if you want to have like a well-functioning network, you have to connect to as many channels as possible, or at least like the best performing ones. And so that way, like if you get all of your liquidity on one side and you need to rebalance, you can use the other channels to rebalance out of there and make sure that you have liquidity to send back and forth. And it's really cool, actually, if you have a Bitcoin-enabled Lightning wallet. So Cash App has one that's Jack Dorsey's company. You can make Lightning transactions from there, and it's pretty cool, actually, to make a Lightning transaction to see how fast it goes. And then additionally to that, you usually only pay like somewhere between like 1, 2, 3 sats for it, which is incredibly small. It's such a small and fast transaction that it really would work at scale for payments, and that's what it was designed for.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of Lightning, what I like about Lightning Network the most, it's horizontal scalability. So the more nodes we have in the network, the more scalable it is. Mm-hmm. So if we have like million of nodes, that means that the network can process like 100 million transactions per second, which is like insane.
Yeah. And it's not for the Lightning Network is not for sending like billions of dollars. It's for sending, I don't know, up to like a half a BTC for, I don't know, a few $1,000s, $10,000. Like all this is a great way to actually have payments that use Bitcoin, and this is what some of the providers like Strike and others have been building out for actual like retail payment usage. What I found most interesting when I started reading about you guys is just the amount of yield that you can earn running a Bitcoin Lightning channel. And this was actually really surprising for me because for the longest time, I thought it was like a 0.5%, maybe 1% yields for running a Lightning network, or even less for running the nodes. But recently, I saw a website called Assume, or it's somebody that tracks like Lightning Network yields, and he was showing that upwards of 5 to 6% APY can be achieved by having a top performing Lightning Network channel, which is really mind blowing because 5% yield is what ETH is making for staking. So in theory, that should really bring a lot of capital into the system to start running more of these Lightning channels, especially if you can get a 5% native yield in Bitcoin.
Yeah, true. We know that confirmed case, one of our friends from the team who is close to development of the Lightning Network protocol, he is able to achieve like 5% APY in 2022, last year. Yeah, and it's really fascinating, and I think it comes from the capital utilization. So basically, you can have small amount of capital, but you turn over it like 100 times per year, and collecting 0.1 fee, for example, each time. So it can give you like 10% APR. Yeah, but of course it's like 100 times turnover. It's quite big, so it's probably smaller, or fees are slightly lower. So, but yeah, 5% is really achievable. Sam, you are muted.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, so the website was called Amboss, and just to bring up a screenshot that they have on Twitter, I don't actually have their pro. You need to sign up for their pro version, but here's some APR graphs that they have, and you can see that on average, it's roughly, even if it's like 3% on average for APRs, that's pretty incredible. Especially, it should provide a lot more incentive to run these Lightning nodes. And that's why we've seen in the last year or 18 months or so that the Lightning Network has really grown. The TVL jumped up from 1,000 BTC where it was up to 4,741 BTC now. So inflows into Lightning have been quite significant over the last 18 months. So here's the Lightning TVL chart. So this probably will be capitalized even more as more and more people open up channels and they see that they can earn the yields that they have. Sorry, it's a little bit small. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. But yeah, here's the chart on the left-hand side. It peaked, actually, Lightning Network TVL peaked at 5,620 BTC, and it's come down a little bit to 4,744. But with an addition of a LSD like you guys are building, that hopefully could bring a lot more TVL into the system.
Yeah, hopefully. The problem with Lightning Network is that it's really hard to manage the Lightning Network node, because you need to think about many things, like where should I open the channel with, and what the level of fee should I set up, and how actually do rebalancing. So that's all of that is are super technical questions that in order to do that like wisely, you need to have some technical expertise. Not all of people have that, and so here that's how we decided to start our project, because we we kind of have this expertise, and we can like take Bitcoins from people and invest it in the Lightning Network channels and produce yield for them, and then return it back to users. The only question was if we can do it in trustless way. Yeah, and so we originally did a little bit of research, figure out the way how to do it in a like almost trustless way, and yeah, that's how Stroom appeared.
I think there's 2 points here, and the first is the channel management, like you talked about. So choosing what channels to establish and how to rebalance, and liquidity management there, and then additionally, how to trustlessly get the Bitcoin in the first place into your channels. And then I guess the third one would be is like, how do you have a distributed organization like a DAO setup manage those channels in a way which has transparency and trustlessness to it. So maybe we could start with the first one, talking about how you guys have been able to like get to the point where you feel comfortable managing these channels and having a sufficient performance to be able to open this up to the broader market.
So it basically boils down to the data analysis and some like statistics stuff. So we analyze the network. We collect all the possible metrics that we can think of, and try to understand where is the most, how to say, where is the most, where is the liquidity is needed the most, like the thin place in the network where there is a huge amount of transactions, but the capacity of channels is small. So we determine these places and then open the channels from basically from one cluster of the network to another and start routing the transaction between these clusters. Yeah, and then there is another thing that is related to fee management. So you need to understand what the appropriate level of fee you need to set up in the channel, because if your setup is too high, that flow will not go. But if you set up it too small, then you will receive a small amount of fees, but you like utilization of capital is still the cost. You pay that cost, like, and yeah, so that also like data analysis exercise. So you need you basically analyze all the traffic that goes through your node. You also analyze your I forgot the word. Yeah, sorry, I'm not a native speaker in English.
Oh, it's fine.
So,
no, don't worry about it. I think
neither am I.
Yeah. Maybe you can address the second point of the question, which is like, how will you guys receive the Bitcoin to these Stroom channels? Will it just be from native Bitcoin, or will you accept like ERC20s like WBTC and then swap them out for native Bitcoin, or like other variants like TBTC? Is it going to be like a bi-directional deposit and withdrawal system, or will it just be for native Bitcoin?
Yeah, let me answer this question. Yeah, so like generally, of course, like we need the original Bitcoins to put it to the Lightning Network channels. But I think the first market we are targeting on is WBTC, because it's the users who already want to move their Bitcoin to DeFi-enabled chains and use it as a liquidity. And but at the moment, the original Bitcoin is just like stored on some cold storages and not generate any yields, and even the users pay fees for the bridging. Yeah, and so we will have the original way to deposit Bitcoin, just from the Bitcoin wallet, but also we plan to have some. It will be fully on the Ethereum side, just some pool for the WBTC holders who can swap their WBTC to LNBTC. And then we redeem the WBTC to the original Bitcoin and use it in the Lightning Network channels.
Nice. And then the third question was about like who can run the channels? Is it anybody is able to run these channels, or is it like a whitelisted set of operators?
Yeah, so we can say that we run a node, and the node can open like a lot of channels. Yeah, so the node control all open channel, and yeah, and speaking about like at the moment we plan to use only one node, but like in our MVP version. But later we plan like to make some kind of market of liquidity, just like to provide this liquidity to other nodes who want like to route transactions and know how to do it, and just like they can they will be able to take this liquidity from the Stroom and like use it in the Lightning Network, and just like to have some also fee of the rewards.
So there would be, so in the beginning, there's just one node which would be operated, and then anybody can connect their channels into you. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And then we had a question from Flackworth that kind of builds on this, which is, how will slashing be handled in Stroom? For example, when an accidental node downtime or unilateral channel closure happens, is there a concept of buffer reserve, etc.?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So we are currently working on the slashing conditions, but at least in MVP version, since we will have only one node that will be run by us, so we will not have that. So it's really like tricky to come up with some good scheme, since we cannot like ask these nodes to have a lot of capital to be locked for slashing, because then the system will become capital inefficient. So like at first we will do it by ourselves and try to have our node uptime as much as possible, of course. Later we will do the KYC for node operators. So at that stage we will have like 10 to 20 nodes and we will know them well. So we still have like off-chain control of the quality of the service that they provide. And later, maybe in a year or 2 years, we will come up with some slashing conditions, and that will be managed purely by the tokenomics.
So is there like an eject function? So let's say you have in this system where someone else is running a node. Is there like an eject function where if they're acting maliciously or they go down or something, that the Stroom network would be able to essentially slash them and recall their Bitcoin that they have in liquidity channels?
So the Stroom network will be able to like take all Bitcoins, all the liquidities that were provided to that node back to the Stroom treasury or back to the Stroom. That's for sure. But if the node doesn't have any own liquidity, then yeah, we could not slash them. So that's an open question. If we need to require the node to put something in order to be slashable.
That's cool. And how far are you guys along in the product timeline?
So we're currently building MVP, and we plan to finish our development by the middle of November. And then that's the date when we will be releasing the public testnet and start our audits. And hopefully it will take like 1-2 months. So we will be ready to launch the MVP version to the mainnet by the end of the year.
That's very cool. And I asked this in the chat, but with the upcoming edition of Taro at some point, they'll be adding stablecoins into the mix as well too, which might also be another like stablecoins on BTC Lightning earning yield as well, which could offer some other interesting opportunities.
I'm personally very excited about the Taro Taproot asset protocol. Yeah, and the stablecoins in Lightning Network. It's really great that it will be compatible with Lightning Network right away. Yeah, so definitely we will have the stablecoin version of the liquid staked, like stablecoin staked in Lightning Network.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that could provide some interesting growth for Lightning, right? Because it's probably much easier to acquire stable coins that can come in and add another $100 million of liquidity into Lightning, and then also people can settle in dollars as well too. So I'm very excited for that addition. Yeah. So like when it comes to like stable or these like stable coins, whether they're for Bitcoin or for Ethereum or anything else, really it's about integrations. And have you guys started to do any sort of like business development work to reach out and contact any providers to talk about having to be like either getting like Chainlink oracles set up in the future or getting added to money markets or any other DeFi protocols?
Yeah, so like we have like a lot of directions with integrations. First of all, like we need to be integrated to the DeFi protocols, and like here also we have a strategic partner, Anchor, and like a agreement with them that they will integrate our token to projects from their portfolio, and also like we are speaking currently with possible liquidity providers at the beginning, because like looks like firstly we need to get some some TVL, just like to have a TVL and trading volume. Then after that will be easier to get like to make a Chainlink oracle, and like after that will be super easier just like to get more more integrations with DeFi protocols.
Yeah. And how did the fundraising process go? I mean, you guys are the first of your kind to issue a Bitcoin LSD on Lightning.
It was a pretty like a long way, because like we started to raise somewhere on September, and before that it was like a Luna crash and Celsius. And
last year. Oh, you were raising last year. Wow.
Just like we started like to think about the race and prepare the first like documents, because like we are first time founders with Slava, and and after that like crypto markets also went down, and but we like signed the first check in December last year from Anchor, like on the bottom of the price of Bitcoin, and after that like started to sign another investors. But when we started, the LST narrative was not so popular that now. And like a lot of people just ask what is the liquid staking and so on. But like with this time it became better and better, because like now like all people know what is it.
Yeah. And has there been any like I'm sure in the Ethereum community it's going to be positive to see this LSD put out, but how has this gone down in other Bitcoin circles, like when you speak with people who maybe don't interact with Ethereum at all or any other L1s?
It's of course like our like I think the first target for liquidity is WBTC holders. Because like it's more clear for them, and because like for Bitcoin maxis it's not like a super transparent, and a lot of them like don't know what is going on DeFi ecosystem, because like they call any coins
exactly.
with some board. And but some of Bitcoin maxis think that we want to like transfer Bitcoin value to other chains, but like our main like a goal just like to grow the Bitcoin ecosystem, and like and come back these Bitcoins from WBTC to the Bitcoin Lightning Network.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting, and it's for all the LSD projects that have come out, because we've seen many on Ethereum in the past 6 months that have tried to run with different flavors of LSDs. This is probably the most interesting and novel one that I've seen, because it's addressing a completely new market that nobody's been able to crack yet. And hopefully on the back end, it brings a lot more liquidity into Lightning in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we see like on the Lightning capacity it means like a TVL of the Lightning, it's about like 150 mil, and like a WBTC market cap is around 4 billions or even bigger. Yeah, so like the difference, like around I don't know, like a 30-fold or 40-fold. Yeah, and yeah, so like we see the big potential here, and because like we can just like double the liquidity of the Lightning network.
What happens though? I mean, like, let's say you get $1 billion or $100 million worth of inflows of Bitcoin into Stroom, and you like double the TVL size of Lightning. What happens to, like, are the yields just compressed then, or does this like help Lightning Network expand even more and take on even more traffic and payments and everything else? Like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think like the both, because like obviously the APY will be lower because like more liquidity. Because like APY is just like a transfer transaction volume times fee, and divided to the TVL. And but of course, the Lightning Network will be more robuster, and like some applications will work better because like it's more liquidity and more success rate of the transactions and so on. Yeah, so we think that it will be like a very good for the network.
That's very cool. Well, that's really nice to hear. I'm glad you guys are building this, and I hope that it's one of the big drivers for like way more attention coming from Ethereum to Lightning Network, which is needed, because I do like Lightning Network at the end of the day. Like if you've ever like used it, it works great. It's instant, it's fast, it's cheap. And this project, Stroom, bringing in more TVL, bringing in more liquidity into Lightning Network that can help set up new channels, and also create the ability to have like a tokenized asset that you can use in Ethereum to either like borrow against or gain access to liquidity to, is pretty cool. It's very cool. So really excited to see how you guys play out over the next few months. I know you guys will be going to beta soon and have the MVP out. We'll be looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you guys want to hang on and talk about news, you can. Otherwise, thanks for coming on.
Some exciting stuff, by the way. Definitely a very novel idea, like Sam said. Me personally, I'm not very much into Bitcoin, but what you guys are doing here and the angle that you all seem to be taking is quite interesting, I must say. Respect for that.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Super excited.
So yeah, yep.
Yeah. So I think we can hang out.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we got a bunch of news. So one thing that I'm actually really excited about that we saw yesterday was that Socket.tech announced a $5 million strategic investment from Coinbase Ventures, and it was led by Framework. So interestingly, Coinbase Ventures doesn't usually follow on these investments. They're usually the lead. But Socket.tech has just been crushing it. And anybody that doesn't know them, they are a cross-chain like swap aggregator, so that you can literally move any asset from any EVM chain to other EVM chain. And it'll, like, let's say you have USDC on Ethereum and you want to get, I don't know, Tether on Optimism. It'll find the most optimal route to like swap your USDC into USDT and then transfer it across the bridge as well too. It's very cool. So this is like a nice API set that can be built into any sort of project, and It's going to enable a large amount of liquidity, native routing, and a bunch of other stuff to come for cross-chain swaps. Very interesting.
Definitely cool stuff, and always interesting to see like interesting VCs do actions. It's always interesting. It's the kind of VCs that personally I think are not in it for just cash grabs, but in it for like actual efficient tech and good infrastructure for exciting stuff that's being built. It's always nice to see.
Yeah, and this cross-chain narrative stuff is going to be pretty big over the next like year or two as all the infrastructure gets built out, because it's not there yet, but it's definitely coming. We also had another big news for ETH, where ARK Invest and 21
I'm
Shares.
sorry, Sam. Sorry for interrupting you. We actually need to go to another call. Sorry
No worries, guys. Thank you for coming on, Slava Ross, for being here. And also thanks for everybody else for asking questions for the Stroom community. You can find them at Stroom.network, and also come join the Telegram as well too. So thanks, guys, for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye. There's also like we were saying, a race that is going to be happening for an Ethereum ETF. ARK Invest and 21 Shares have both filed proposals to get a spot Ethereum ETF, and they may actually get one with the Grayscale decision that ruled in favor of Grayscale and against the SEC just a few weeks ago.
This is so big in my mind, Sam. I think it's I think it really is going to be quite the turning point for the new inflow of actual like big amounts of capital into the ecosystem. Because right now, everything is numb and everyone has this PvP atmosphere, and if you're not really very much interested into crypto and all the new projects that's coming up, you really think that the industry is quite irrelevant at the moment. But for us, we feel the opposite way, and I really think that once these ETFs will get approved, then like Raul Pal once I remember saying, like, huge, enormous walls of money will start inflowing into the ecosystem, because there's so much capital in my mind that's just waiting for like this very traditional way of
institutional capital, we should say.
Exactly.
Because if you're running a large fund, in like $1 billion fund, and you want to invest some money into Bitcoin, the first thing that you're going to go do is like look for a regulated product. Like, is there something that's already SEC approved, that's already trading, that already has due diligence, 10Ks, all the things that you normally see with existing stocks. If you're a $1 billion company and you're wondering, oh, hey, should I go buy some Coinbase or buy some Bitcoin on Coinbase or ETH on Coinbase? It becomes a bigger question, because then your investment team has to go and do due diligence on that. They have to ensure that the custody is safe, and also the accounting and everything else. And it's a whole process. If there was just a spot ETF, you could just make that decision and invest that day, right? It wouldn't really be a question of the whole mechanics and operations of deploying that capital. The product would just be there. Yeah.
Exactly. And this that's exactly the point. These people need the smooth route for them to put their money into it, and that's a lot of money. That's not like the amounts we've seen before are very tiny, in my opinion, compared to what we're actually going to see once institutional capital starts giving its kosher signature for the industry. And these kinds of ETFs, in my opinion, will play a very important role. That's why I'm very interested in knowing, like, how long do you think this process is going to take? Like, from these rumors now till we actually have these ETFs?
Well, I don't know about the Bitcoin one, but I would assume for this Ethereum ETF, probably sometime next year.
That's big, man. And also the Bitcoin halving should be next year as well, I think, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's already priced in, guys, so I wouldn't even worry about it.
Yeah, everything is priced in for sure. As always, everything is priced.
So there was also some other, let's see, other TradFi news. So ex-Celsius CEOs Alex Mashinsky's assets were ordered frozen by a court as the DOJ case continues. His house and all of his funds were frozen as the feds try to figure out where all the money went.
Wow, and actually, Alex Mashinsky is from Israel, and I met a friend yesterday who also is a bit connected to the blockchain industry, like kind of an entrepreneur within the industry. And we also talked about this exactly this Mashinsky and Celsius stuff. Man, what can I tell you?
Did we talk about Moshe? Did we talk about Moshe as well too?
No, I don't think we. You mean Moshe Hogeg?
Yeah, who
No, I don't think
way
we
more
ever,
of a serial scammer than like on the same level as Mashinsky, right?
No, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if I understand his case well enough because I know a bit more about the Mashinsky case, and that was huge. But it seems that the Moshe Hogeg case is quite huge. I should dig up some stuff about it and get back to you on it.
Yeah, I would hope because he launched.
It always seemed something small to me. It always seemed like something small and irrelevant and like whatever. But I do remember that a few months ago, like people actually the foreign the crypto media that I usually follow as DeFi advisor already all of a sudden started talking about it because usually it would only be discussed in like the Israeli circles, and I'm not that interested in it. So I thought it was quite small. But this guy was an important figure in Israel in a way because he owned one of the biggest football clubs.
Yeah, because he raised $157 million in an ICO for a phone that never appeared back in 2017 and pocketed a lot of that cash. So in total, he raised $290 million and none of his projects ever went anywhere. And they kind of all faded off and went to zero.
That is insane.
He ended up.
I'm pretty sure that I heard some other stories, but I don't want to say something incorrect on stream. But yeah, not looking good for these two guys. But I think it's also important to say that quite a lot of good innovation is also coming from Israeli developers as well. Yeah. For example, Starkware, if you're aware of it. And, I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff that are less familiar and less doxed, but a lot of good Israeli actors within the space as well, of course. But these two, not that great. Not at all.
Okay, so Justin Bieber has announced that he's launching a NFT collection where let's check this out. So his song Company is being tokenized. There's 2,000 editions, $28 each, and each NFT earns 0.0005% royalties when Company is streamed. So let's talk about streaming income because it's not that much. You could get millions and millions, hundreds of millions of streams and probably get paid a couple of dollars. So I don't think the yields are going to be like super high. But we'll see.
Is this like officially a security for the rights of the song?
No, I don't think so. He's selling you can like, so what is it called? The rights to the song are not securities. I don't think.
But isn't it something that you buy now in order to get paid and all that Howey test stuff?
I don't think it's a security. I think it's like one of the exceptions that right? So I just looked up how much money Spotify pays out. So it's about 0.005 cents per stream. And that means that if this song gets 1 billion streams, Justin will get around $5 million. And when we multiply that by the royalty figure, you get, oh wait, I think I need another 2. Like 20. So if there's 1 billion streams, the NFTs are in $25. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, we should get to the math of this to be sure. But I think it's mostly a promotion. It's mostly about like awareness and attracting a new audience for maybe future products that Justin is might be planning for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I really think it's just it's more of an instrument than something that he really like for sure. But I think that we're gonna see a lot of this stuff, like people trying to re-experiment different stuff with NFTs from different industries, because the NFT dream, like it was sold to so many people. I've seen a lot of these circles, like between artists and stuff like that. The hype around the NFTs and how it's going to change like a lot of their in real life stuff was quite big in some of the circles that I've witnessed. And all of a sudden it went from like 100 to 0 very quickly within a few months. But I think that with time now we're gonna see all kinds of re-experimenting of different people with different kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and we'll see.
Well, Google is probably going to be one of the people that is allowing for more NFT usage. They are going to be allowing advertising of NFT games if there's no gambling or speculation or no gambling in it, which is pretty big. I mean, one of the things that Google has always been against is crypto. So the addition of NFT games using Google ad services, it's pretty big. That means that a lot more revenue and that games can actually grow because you need Google advertising to be able to like get in front of people.
The amount of reach that a lot of these games can now get, because a lot of them are like, games that are heavily promoted with huge promotion budgets. So I didn't even know that this kind of stuff was banned by Google, that you couldn't do it before. But if it's now going to be opened, like I'm pretty sure they're going to get some market share out of it.
There's also a privacy paper that was launched by Vitalik and Amin, as well as a couple of other people from Chainalysis, Jacob from Chainalysis, talking about blockchain privacy and regulatory compliance towards a practical equilibrium. And this is in context of privacy pools, which was debuted by Amin back at ETH Denver. And privacy pools is essentially Tornado Cash, but you can say that you are not someone else. So you can essentially say that this person is not a part of my like privacy set. So the main issue with Tornado Cash is that there's good actors, a lot of good actors who just wanted to shield their ETH transactions. And then there's also bad actors as well too. And all it takes is a couple of bad actors to taint the entire pool. And that shared security that everybody has inside those Tornado Cash pools is compromised and no longer able to use, and under OFAC sanctions. But with privacy pools, which is a Tornado Cash fork that Amin put out, now law-abiding good users can say that they are not the bad guys, and they can actually prove it using ZK proofs. And it means that if some North Korean comes along and deposits money into this privacy pool, everyone that is a good actor can come in and say that, oh, hey, I'm not this person. And then their security set, that North Korean person, essentially goes to zero, and it becomes much easier to track them. You can essentially see where the flow of funds go.
This is amazing, man.
Yeah.
We should try to get them in on, maybe to discuss this.
Yeah. So the ability to exclude is like seminal in the sense that you get to launch Tornado Cash or this privacy pools again and take money in and add new compliance tools in that would allow for money to flow in and out and to have private transactions, but also be compliant with OFAC sanctions.
Is this already operating?
Yeah, no, privacy pools was launched at ETH Denver.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where is it on? Like, is it on one of the ZK layers in order for this to
No,
happen?
it's an Ethereum-based contract.
Sounds quite like remarkable. How big is the usage there? Can we get this?
I think it's still small because people are still afraid of the Tornado Cash issues, but it does have the possibility of bringing a lot of TVL back.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, quite curious about how big the TVL there is, and know how fast it's growing. Because this kind of thing can have a big inflow also. Like once people see that this is a way that's better than Tornado Cash, this is going to get some usage.
Yeah.
If so, if this is actually the case.
So I see that there's 48. Where's deposits? Well, I'm on the privacy pool page, but I do not see how. I think there's like 48 total deposits so far. So not a ton yet, but if it does get picked up, then it could grow a lot. But it's only allowing 0.001 ETH transactions at the moment. I think they're still in testing phase, and they haven't really gone to like full production, like allowing 100 ETH in at a time.
Yeah. And that's what I was actually asking. So, well, cool. Wonder, like, privacy is also a huge narrative, man. Really,
yeah.
Like so many people will actually want their capital under the table, especially as the years go by, and we are going probably into at some point a cashless reality. Maybe not in our lifetime, but it seems reasonable that more and more stuff is going to be digital.
So we had a response from Gala Games about the situation, an official statement from them about the ongoing lawsuit between them and their, I guess, former CEO or founder, where the Gala Games community was informed of recent legal actions involving the company's founders. On August 31st, 2023, a derivative shareholder lawsuit was filed by Gala Games CEO Eric Scheimer against former co-founder Wright Thurston and True North United Investments, LLC. They claim that Wright Thurston subsequently filed a lawsuit against Eric Scheimer, and Gala emphasizes that these issues primarily concern the founders and don't substantially involve the company itself. And Gala Games is still building, and yada yada yada. But it comes down to the claims of that Wright took over $190 million worth of tokens, and I don't know if he sold them or just misappropriated them. It's all a big mess, really a big mess. Unfortunate for Gala Games.
So usual in a way, we see this kind of stuff so much. People being allocated a fortune, different sizes, and whether they do malicious stuff with it or just not very wise stuff with it. Like so much money actually got evaporated like that this past 2 years or so.
Mm-hmm. So Schreiermeyer reportedly siphoned $600 million from Gala Games for personal use. He was accused of borrowing heavily from Gala Games for personal gain. Apparently, there was competitive conflicts, established rivalries in Switzerland and Dubai, lots of board issues, financial irresponsibilities. Kind of strange, right? Maybe we should stop giving brand new companies billions and billions of dollars in market cap when they haven't really done anything.
Yeah, but that's not a crypto related issue.
Yeah.
So many companies get such huge fortunes without doing much before they get it, because that's the VC game, which seems to be a part of every industry and market. The more myself I'm what I'm seeing being a few years into crypto, because VCs are actually everywhere and they kind of want to create these bubbles. Like that's one of their strategies.
So former FTX higher up executive Ryan Salame plans to plead guilty to criminal charges, joining others in Sam Bankman-Fried inner circle who have done the same. Probably went to the feds and is flipped. Is going to be providing information. So him, also Alameda Research CEO Caroline Ellison, Gary Wang, and Nishad Singh have all pleaded guilty over the last several months, and probably most likely will be testifying at SBF's trial that is upcoming. And SBF's trial is slated to start in early October.
Man, what a story going to be. When do you think the movie about FTX will come? The first movie about FTX. When do you think it's going?
I don't know.
I don't think it's going to take that long.
I don't know. You know who I feel bad for though is this dude who lost $24 million in a phishing attack yesterday. He approved the wrong transaction for a phishing scam, and the hackers were able to take 4,851 RETH and 9,579 Lido staked ETH.
What was the transaction? What did he try to do?
He had a malicious link that he clicked on, and most likely authorized these transactions for these people to take the funds from his wallet.
Yeah, but did they say a malicious link for what? Like, what kind of link did he get? Like, what was offered to him? What did he think he was doing?
No, I saw in Lobster Chat that they thought that it was for an eigenlayer deposit.
Wow.
But it's unclear. We won't know because we can't see the front end. We can only see the transaction that was signed and executed.
Man, that is brutal.
I know. Yeah. Well, we'll leave it on that note. I hope you guys enjoyed the Stroom interview. This guy's looked like a very interesting project. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's cool. And we'll be back tomorrow for the last show of the week, along with Garrett.
Cool.
All right. Guys. See you later, guys. Bye.